Welcome, everyone. Here we are on another Friday night with the lovely Dark Owl, who I was just talking to about her narration skills while we were offline. I'm
Hello.
actually really excited about this interview because we've had to postpone it a few times, both well, last time it was my fault, I think. So,
Yeah,
but
I was thinking that. I'm like, wow, seriously, we cannot reschedule this one more time.
yeah, I mean, I've had a few requests to interview you, and I wanted to interview you myself because I happen to love the stories you choose.
Oh, thank you.
So, yeah, I wanted to take a deeper look into your channel and what makes you tick.
I feel like I'm going to be very boring, so I apologize in advance.
I highly doubt that. You don't seem like a boring person.
I think maybe we all sort of feel like we're boring, but I guess we all have our unique stories to our lives.
I agree, and no two tales of the origins of how you came to this community are ever alike. So
That's
so
true.
there's no repeats on my channel. Yeah.
I haven't watched all of the interviews, but I have watched many of your interviews, and yeah, everybody definitely has a different story.
Yeah, for sure. And welcome everybody who's already here. Empoleon, welcome. The Darkness, hello. Hope you're doing well. And all six of you watching, or sorry, five of you watching. I already scared people away. I'm so sorry. Just gonna give it a few minutes here because I know we
Right.
did say that we were gonna start a little bit later. So,
Right. Yeah.
but I'm sure you're eager to get started with your weekend.
Yeah, but this is a nice way to wind down. It's fine.
That is true. I do find this relaxing on some level on Friday nights.
Yeah.
Um, but you know what? I don't know if you've heard any of my most recent streams, but I've kind of found out that pretty much the best night it seems to stream is on Wednesdays. I was kind of doing like a survey to see,
Oh,
when I could give you guys the maximum exposure. And I think Wednesdays has been the day that has been more popular, which is
that's
strange.
yeah, I wouldn't have guessed that.
Yeah, and see, when I poll people on Twitter, because I don't have 10,000 subs, so I don't have access to the community function on here.
Hmm.
But when I poll people, they always say no, keep the Friday nights. But then more people show up Wednesdays, so I don't get it.
Yeah, that is different. I mean, yeah, I wouldn't have guessed. I would not have guessed Wednesday at all.
Yeah, and see, the reason why I originally thought that maybe I should do a regular weekday is because I figured maybe people go out on Friday nights and they don't have a chance to tune in because it's the end of the week. Some people go out to a bar or they go out to a movie. So I thought a different day, but Wednesday wasn't necessarily the day I thought would win out.
Right, yeah. I do my videos. I schedule them on Wednesdays and Saturdays, and I will say that at least non-streaming videos like I do, the Saturday ones are always way more viewed than the Wednesday ones.
Oh, interesting. That's some good knowledge there.
Yeah,
Welcome,
because
Craig. Sorry, go ahead.
oh, I was just going to say because there have been times where, my workload gets to the point where I don't know if I can actually keep doing the two stories per week. So I'm
Mhm.
like, well, if I have to cut one of them out, it will be the Wednesday one.
Yeah, at least you pinned it down though to, Saturdays for sure are a good day for your channel.
Yeah,
It's a good day for Twilight Zone like stories.
right.
And you were definitely good at picking those. Thank you so much, Empoleon. I really appreciate it. He said a great way to start Scare LA weekend with a Margbot interview. Thank you. I
Oh, that is
appreciate that.
awesome.
Yeah, so I guess there's a Scare LA con going on this weekend. I actually think I heard rumors that I don't know if you're familiar with her, but Lady McCreepsta, I think, might be there. I don't really
Oh,
know.
wow. Oh,
Yeah.
wow. No, I had
Yeah.
not heard. I didn't even, I've never even heard of Scare LA, which is sad because I'm actually SoCal. So
Oh, you too?
yeah, yeah.
Oh my gosh, we have to meet up sometime.
That would be fun. I was actually thinking about that. I'm like, I literally don't live close to like almost any of the narrators that I know, and I'm like, oh my God, you're also SoCal. We have to
Yes,
meet up.
for sure. And I mean, a couple of months back when we were still allowed, well, I shouldn't say allowed, but when we were more welcome at YouTube Space, we were actually looking for more people in Southern California to meet at YouTube Space because I met a few of the other horror creators in the community, but now
Oh,
they've kind of taken that away. So,
yeah, naturally.
yeah, because we all know how YouTube's going.
I know. I mean, fortunately, we still have this as a platform that we can use. It's just kind of sad, all of the things that keep happening with it.
Yeah, it's really unfortunate, but I feel like this is kind of shifting more towards a springboard kind of for other outlets. So, it's fine as a hobby now. I think most people should probably treat it as that. And those who are still making a living off of this, more power to you. But I don't know. I mean, if I was really 100% into doing this, I think I would use this as something to preview like my actual creations that are stored somewhere else. But yeah, that's just me. Thank you so much, Empoleon. I appreciate it. LA Comic Con in October. Interesting. I didn't know we had an LA Comic Con. Is that
I did
bad?
I did not know that either. I mean, I know about San Diego and I've always
Exactly. Everybody knows about San Diego.
right. I've
But
always wanted to go to that one, but I've never made it
same here. Yeah, you know what? I always say next year, but then something ends up happening and I end up not going.
every time.
Oh, welcome, Nightmare Files. Okay, so he said Dark Owl talk in that accent
Gosh.
that you did on another channel. I can't remember what channel. I think it was Skin Locusts.
Yeah.
What's he talking about?
Oh my God.
Oh,
I
you're
don't know if
blushing. I can tell.
I am a little bit. I don't know if I can do that right off the bat. So me and Skin Locust did a story which was sort of like it kind of almost reminded me of like a news interview type of story. It's fictional, obviously, but the character I played was Australian, and I did an Australian accent for that.
I'm gonna guess you pulled it off really well if Nightmare Files wants to hear it again.
Oh my gosh, I
Wow,
I
Nightmare
don't
Files, very humble there. I have
yeah.
that effect on people.
Ah, I'm trying to think like could I even try? So I have a an American accent obviously, but I kind of also have a default Irish accent, which I don't know. I kind of went to like a very international type of preschool when I
Hmm.
was very young, and I had a lot of different influences from accents, and my voice sometimes shifts into an Irish accent,
Oh, that's
even
awesome.
when I don't even know it. I've had people, it's like, "Oh, are you like from England or Ireland?" And I'm like, "No, my voice just went there." But trying to actually do a Australian accent was a lot harder because, like I said, my voice will default into like an Irish accent. So when I actually worked on that video with Skin Locust, I actually practiced for 3 days. I read the story over and over and over, trying to nail that Australian accent. So to actually try to just do it right off the bat, like right now, I don't know if I could do it.
Well, if at any point you feel like answering any of the questions in a different accent, I'm totally cool with that.
Oh, that's
Feel
hilarious.
free. Oh my
Well,
gosh.
that's funny because I was just thinking about this. A lot of people think I'm a lot younger than I am because I have a youthful voice, which I think a lot of female narrators do. But I was thinking about like, well, except when I'm doing an accent, because I think my Australian accent made me sound a lot older.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Do I get to ask? I mean, you don't have to answer this. I completely understand. But can I ask how old you are? If not, it's totally cool.
I'll just give you a general. I'm in my 30s.
Oh, okay, okay. So we're
Yeah.
probably around the same age. I'm about to
Yeah,
turn
probably.
30 at the end of the year.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Hi, Corrupted Playground. Welcome. And I was saying welcome, Quipster, as well. Flying Llama Lover. Hi, welcome. Okay. All right, guys. I think we're going to get started. So, Dark Owl, the good old question. What is the origin of your channel name?
Of all the questions, this one was the hardest because
Wow.
I don't have a good origin story. It just came to me and I'm like, "Oh, that sounds kind of good." Um, when I decided to start this YouTube channel, it was I don't know if I would say it was a whim. it wasn't a whim. It was something that I had actually thought about doing. But when I actually just went for it, I was like, okay, I'm going to do this. I guess I need a name. And just was trying to like come up with something that sounded good. And I don't really it just kind of popped into my head, other than the fact that I do actually have owls that I hear at night outside of my window. So maybe they were my inspiration. But I played with the name Dark Owl or Night Owl, and I just thought Dark Owl stories sounded the best. So that's the very uninteresting origin of the name.
Very nice. Have you watched The Fourth Kind?
Oh, it sounds familiar, but it's
It
not like,
has it has Mila Jovovich in it, and it's kind of filmed like if it were a documentary.
I don't think so. Not right off the top of my head. I mean, it sounds familiar, but I don't think so.
So go watch that movie, and then we'll come back and talk about owls at night.
Oh, okay. I know there's a lot of different views of it. I know in like Hispanic or Mexican culture, it's actually considered sort of an evil omen. But I think I've even heard like in different Native American culture, they're considered spirits of the ones who have passed on. So I don't know. I know owls have in some ways there's good connotations, like say Harry Potter, and then in other like superstitions and other cultures, they're considered evil. So,
Yeah, see, in Hispanic cultures, they're actually thought of as like shapeshifters.
oh,
So, I don't know if somehow that ties into Native American culture at all, but usually it's like witches who can shapeshift into owls. So I think that's where the whole
oh,
like kind of evil thing came from because they're not thought of as like good witches or anything like that.
right.
But at least that's from what I know. What inspired you to start a YouTube channel?
Well, as far as this YouTube channel, because I've had other YouTube channels, I guess it was just I thought the community was really neat. I really enjoyed the different narrators. Okay, so I actually started listening to like scary stories, scary stories, creepypasta narrators about a year before I started my channel. And I have always really enjoyed YouTube, but I've never done anything in YouTube that really I felt super passionate about. I think when I first started, it was like in 2010, and I did different things. I tried daily vlogging, that was not my thing, and I tried beauty vlog or beauty. What are those called? YouTubers or whatever those are, and that was not my thing at all. And one of the things I really, really did enjoy was creating like music videos. I love the whole video editing process. But
Oh.
then there was a lot of problems with copyrights and a lot of restrictions with music, especially back in 2010. So I just kind of gave up. It just seemed like I couldn't find my niche. And, but I've always really absolutely loved the YouTube community. And so, like, I started listening to the creepypastas and the horror community. And about a year after that, I'm like, you know what? Why am I just listening? I'm going to try this myself. And I actually tried to do a recording on my computer. I hadn't done anything. I had just gotten on Reddit, found a story, and decided, oh, I'm going to just read this and see how I sound. And it turned out pretty badly because I didn't have good equipment at all. And so I ran out like the next day and went and got myself a Blue Yeti microphone. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to give this another try, see if the equipment makes any difference. And I was like, okay, this actually sounds pretty good. And so that's kind of how I started. I started like emailing authors, getting permission, and everything. And it was funny because it all just kind of came together pretty quickly. It was like I thought, you know what, I want to give this a shot. And within a week, I had uploaded my first video. And since then, I have religiously uploaded 2 videos per week ever since. So I'm pretty proud of that.
You should be. I mean, Jesus, sometimes I upload like once a month if it's not for the interviews. And I've been at this, what, like I want to say about 2 years now. It's
Yeah.
embarrassing, honestly. So, I mean, not many people can stick to an actual schedule, and you escalated pretty quickly. It usually takes, most of us, I think, a while to get an actual mic, but you were not happy, went out the next day and just bought it. You're like, I'm in this. That's
Well,
great.
I was like, well, if it didn't work, the place that I bought it from had a pretty good return policy, and I'll just return it and just give that one up because that didn't work. But I don't know, it's like it was weird. It just kind of all fell together very quickly from the moment that I decided, you know what, I want to give this a shot. And then because I have done some YouTube in the past, I did understand there's sort of the importance of uploading regularly. And so I thought, okay, well, at least this time around, I'm going to actually have a schedule. That way, at least it forces me. But I mean, I've done this a little over a year now, and I am really proud that I have been able to stick to that schedule. But at the same time, I'm realistic, thinking, well, if something changes or, my job changes or my workload changes, I'm not going to probably be able to continue, but I'm going to just do it as long as I can.
Yeah, I think that's the best way to look at it. Because if not, you stress yourself out.
Yeah,
Um,
exactly.
because some people just stop and they're like, well, this thing's gonna happen next week and that thing's gonna happen next week, and they kind of just psych themselves out, I think. But you're very much aware that anything could happen, but you're just gonna keep doing it until you can't anymore. So
Yeah.
that's
Well, and
great.
I don't ever really want to stop. I just would probably have to cut back, like, okay, well, 2 videos a week is quite demanding. Maybe I'll just cut it down to 1 video a week. And if I can't do that, maybe I'll just do 1 video a month. But at least try to have the mindset, okay, you have to upload on this day or that day. It's a way to keep myself motivated. But I understand that, again, it's really more of a hobby, and it is just something more to do for fun. But at the same time, it is kind of fun to be able to push yourself and see that you are able to do that.
Yeah, definitely. Do you have a process to prepare for recording?
Not like something that I feel like I have to do every time, and I definitely don't do this every time. But I do like to. I usually have like a bottle of water right next to me. I have to set up all of my equipment because I live in a small place that I can't have all my equipment out at once. So I go through the process. I'll go through my apartment, close all of my windows just to try to reduce the noise. Set up my equipment, and then depending on how my voice feels that day, this is going to sound really random. I will sometimes rub Vicks Vapor Rub on my neck or my throat to help everything open up, and that way my voice doesn't crack.
Wow. So is there somebody who taught you that? Did you Google that? How did you stumble upon that tip?
Oh, I don't know. I just made it up.
But it does help you. I mean, you're
It does.
okay. Wow,
Yeah.
that's a new one. I gotta do that sometime.
It's
I could
just
see why it would work though.
make sure afterwards you wipe it all off because that stuff is gooey unless you can really rub that in.
No, definitely. I remember being sick like as a kid and my mom rubbing that on me, and definitely gooey.
Yeah,
It's
it's
like
gooey.
Vaseline with menthol.
Exactly. But yeah, and like I said, I don't do it every time, but I have pretty bad allergies. And at least in the area that I live, there's a lot of agriculture that blows in because I live very close to the beach. And so there's a lot of wind. And so
Hey,
it's
I live
kind
close to the beach too. Maybe you're down the
right.
street.
I know, right? So
Anyway, go on. Sorry.
it's so the allergies, especially like when the season is particularly bad. Right now is pretty good for me. Like I'm not having too many problems, but like earlier in the year, it's like I felt like I couldn't even read a sentence without like sneezing
Oh
or my
no.
voice would crack or whatever. And so that's why I'm like, okay, what would be good? And that's, kind of how I stumbled into, oh, Vicks Vapor Rub might help. So
So here we are with your flawless narrations. Awesome. Is there anything that you wish to improve upon?
not Not like specifically. I think just I would like to just keep growing. I think that, sometimes I'll sit down and I'll narrate and I'm like, wow, that's the best narration I've done. I had almost no mistakes. And then there's times I sit down and it's like I feel like I can't get two or three words out without stumbling, and then the editing takes forever. So it's like if I could just magically wish for one thing to improve, it's that I could just flawlessly narrate every time so editing wouldn't be so hard.
Don't we all wish that though?
Yes.
Oh my gosh. I think with time though and consistency, it does come to you where it's less and less.
Yeah.
Sometimes, there's channels that stream their recording process. And I'm sitting there thinking, you haven't messed up in the last 15 minutes. How do you do that?
I know. I feel the exact same way. I'm like, okay, well, I hate you because you're so perfect.
Yeah, exactly. Stop being so perfect. Okay. Do you have a favorite video you've narrated?
It's hard to say that, whether you have a favorite or not, because I feel like almost all the videos I do, it's like, oh, I'm so proud of this one. Oh, I really love that one. But like looking back, I think there's actually a few, um, and these are kind of from last year even. There was one that I did called It Was Written on the Window, and it's a fairly short um, video. I think it's like between 5 and 10 minutes. And the reason that one is one of my favorites isn't so much the story, even though the story was fun. It was what I was able to do in the video. I did a little bit of special effects with After Effects, like writing on the window, fogging up a mirror. And it was just sort of like, I didn't even know that I could like do that kind of stuff. I had never worked in After Effects before. And I just know that looking back, that's one of the videos that I'm like super, super proud of.
Nice. Awesome.
But as far as like stories, um, there are a couple that that like for some reason are memorable. And I say there's a couple because they're actually related. One is called The First Parents, and then the other one, which is like it's not really a sequel, but it's in like the same world. It's called The Schoolhouse in the Forest. And for some reason, that story kind of sticks out to me, and I just really enjoyed that whole story.
The first parents refresh my memory on the premise of that one, if you
It's
could.
about these two creepy, like ventriloquist dummies.
Oh, I don't think I've heard that one.
Yeah, so that one was actually kind of fun. So. And then if
Okay.
I'm gonna like pull a more recent story that I've done, one that like really sticks out is what was it called? The Staircase in the Library. I really enjoyed that story. I don't know, I liked the whole mood the author was able to set in that story.
Nice. Very nice. And those of you that have not subscribed to Dark Owl's channel, I gotta tell you guys, she has a knack for choosing very Twilight Zoney um stories. So if you like the Twilight Zone, you will definitely love her channel because I think that's the nature of most of the stories she narrates, or at least a good chunk of them. Does
Yeah.
that bother you, by the way, that people say that you choose Twilight Zoney stories?
No, because that's actually how I market myself. I mean, I think that's actually stated in my about page.
I did see that you started posting. I think there's like more of your recent videos say Twilight Zone something, right?
Yeah, I've started like trying to, put that more in the title. Um, Mainly for the fact that I've actually found more Twilight Zone type stories. In the beginning, there were a lot more creepypastas or no sleep types. But my focus since the very beginning was to do Twilight Zone type of stories because that's like my favorite genre of what I consider scary. I mean, I like other kind of scary stories, but like I feel like Twilight Zone has its own kind of fear factor.
Yes.
And so yeah, it's definitely one of those things that I went into this thinking, okay, how do I want to differentiate myself? And it was definitely, with the whole Twilight Zone. I think I put Twilight Zone, Outer Limits, Black Mirror type of stories.
Oh, Outer Limits. You don't often hear that one. I loved it though when it was on when I was a
Right.
kid. It was just such a good series also. I just think it couldn't quite compete with some of the other shows that were out at the time, but that one's definitely a good one as well. Do you have a story that's disturbed you the most when you've narrated it?
You know, in comparison to some of the stories I've listened to from other narrators, like I feel like so many of mine seem really mild, but I think the most disturbing one that comes to mind is one called High Risk, High Reward. And I think it was just because there was sort of an element to it where you could kind of see that happening in real life because, you know, people can do very disturbing things. So yeah, I would say high risk, high reward.
Okay. Yeah, it's usually those stories that make you feel like, wow, this could actually happen that turn out to be the creepiest ones. So I can relate on that level as far as the type of story. What are your future plans for the channel?
You know, I don't have any like really defined future plans, which kind of makes me feel kind of bad about it because I'm like, huh, I've never really thought about that question. Um, I mean, I just want to continue doing what I'm doing, just, you know, keep growing my channel, keep finding, you know, good stories. But I think if I would say like not so much what I want to do just with my channel, but what I would like to do with YouTube. I've thought of expanding into different things. I'm a I don't know how to put this. I'm like an amateur chef, I guess. I'm
Oh my.
I love to cook. Cooking and food is my passion, and I've actually thought, well, maybe I should try to do a cooking video or something, but I don't think it would be necessarily related to like dark owl stories because I'm like, well, I don't think that audience is the same audience that wants to learn how to, you know.
So, it's really funny you say that because that's an idea that I had a while back, but due to certain circumstances that have happened in my personal life this year, that's taken a way back seat. But I did poll the folks in this community to see if they had any interest, like if they would follow me, if I did a cooking channel, and a lot of them said yes. So there's definitely a
Oh,
market for that. So if you want
oh
to go do
wow.
that, you should try it because you'd be surprised the amount of people who would follow you.
Well, I haven't like definitely for sure said that I'm going to do this. It is something that I've been toying with. Again, I'm a part of a collaboration channel called The Horror Hive.
Mhm.
And in addition to doing narrations, there's different kinds of content that we do, like gameplays. And I don't know if we've done any yet, but like top tens and maybe movie reviews and different things like that. And I've kind of been playing with the ideas of maybe doing a scary food kind of not necessarily scary food but like Halloween themed food cooking video for the month of October. So I thought that if I'd ended up doing that for the Horror Hive and it came off pretty well, that maybe I would try to do a little bit more. So
Yeah, I'm pretty sure lots of folks would actually be interested. I actually see people right now in the chat who are very excited about food. And there is a channel that does solely cooking shows or cooking. Their whole channel is like a cooking channel, but it's horror like related, all of it.
yes,
Which I gotta say, she has to be incredibly creative to come up with these horror themed videos all the time with that relate to cooking. Her name is Homicidal Homemaker. But
yes.
yeah, there's definitely a market out there for that in YouTube. And I mean, if you do choose to do that for Horror Hive, then please share with me and I'll be sure to spread it everywhere.
Well,
Um,
I think it's I'm gonna play with the idea because, you know, obviously with the Horror Hive we get to sort of do more than just narrations and it makes sense for that channel. Like I honestly, I mean I could do it, but I would honestly feel a little strange just randomly putting up a cooking video for Dark Owl Stories. People would be like, what even is this? But like with the Horror Hive, it's sort of like, oh, Dark Owl is cooking, you know? And so it's kind of like, okay, that makes sense. And then, you know, with October coming up, I can do sort of a Halloween theme. And so I kind of like being able to sort of dip my toe in the water in that arena But as far as actually doing horror related or horror themed food, just in general, I don't know if, like you said, I don't know if I would be that creative. I feel like I would really want to focus on more just
Just food
normal
in
food,
general.
just food in
Yeah.
general. Yes, exactly.
Yeah, see, same here. I don't think I could put myself in that category all the time because, like I said, she has to be incredibly creative. I've caught like one or two of her videos, to be able to have a whole channel just surrounding food and horror. You know, like
Yes.
these horror themed bites that she does. But you know what? Whether you do that for Horror Hive or for your own channel, I think if you did it on your own channel for Halloween, I don't think anybody would bat an eyelash because it's still, it's, you know, the time for horror and you're bringing something new to the table for that month. But you know, wherever you do it, I'm pretty sure you'll be successful at getting views on it, and exposing that side of yourself, you know, to YouTube because
Right.
like I said, you know, a lot of you'd be surprised how many people would follow you because everybody loves food, you know? So,
Yeah. Well, and I think the thing is in my YouTube life, you know, it's all about the horror community. So it's like these are the people that I feel the most connected with. These are the
mhm.
ones that I really enjoy talking to, having relationships with, tweeting to, all that kind of stuff. And so it's kind of like, yeah, they're the ones that I kind of want to market to because I like them.
Yeah.
But like if it's like if I started my own like cooking channel, that would be like a very different set of people that I would have to get used to. So I don't know. I think I'm just going to play with the idea. But you're right. If I did put something out on my channel for the Halloween season, it probably would be okay.
Yeah, I don't think there would be anybody with pitchforks, but I mean, I look forward to seeing if you do it or not. It sounds exciting.
I have actually already sat down and started like sort of storyboarding it. So I because I do 2 videos per month for the Horror Hive, and I wanted to do 2 cooking videos. So it's like right now, I feel like I really shouldn't like say it because I'm gonna jinx it, but I'm going to anyway. Like right now, I've already got one video planned, and it's gonna be themed around the movie Hocus Pocus. So yeah, I'm gonna do Hocus Pocus related food.
Gotcha. Okay,
I know.
that should be exciting, especially because I think they're bringing out a new movie this year.
Yes, I think so. The thing is, I know that's not super scary. That's more, that just reminds me of being like a kid in the 90s kind of thing.
But that's
But
something that a lot of us grew up with, so I think it's
that's
completely appropriate.
that's what I figure. You know, it's like I don't have to do gross food. You know, I don't have to do like bloody, gory kind of food. I can just do food from like a scary movie. And Hocus Pocus isn't necessarily a scary movie, but it's still in the same genre. So I think I'll just go with it.
Yeah, I think that's actually a really good idea. So I look forward to that one. If you could meet any two narrators in person, who would they be and why?
It's funny because if you had asked me that a year ago, I think the answers would be very different. But now, I would probably say, this is awkward. I would probably say Beside the Dying Fire and Skin Locus.
So funny you say that because beside the dying fire, jinxed this whole interview for a whole
I know.
month.
I know.
Oh my gosh. So
Um,
I'm just gonna put this out there, guys. Like I said at the beginning of this interview, we have had to reschedule this quite a few times. And I think it was because Beside the Dying Fire was so rooting for this interview, but he was unavailable for like the times that we scheduled it. So I think he secretly jinxed it so that it would happen at a time that he would be here. So yeah. Anyway, that was just a side note. So Beside the Dying Fire and Skin Look. So
yeah.
why?
So I mainly just because I love their content and they're just really nice people. I mean, I've done couple, two, three, four, I don't remember how many different videos I've done with Beside the Dying Fire, and I love his content. I think he's very original. I think he's very talented, and I think he's a really great person. And same thing with Skin Locust. I mean, he's just I mean, it's so awkward to like try to explain why, but it's like I know that when I see their videos pop up on my like sub list, it's like I get excited. I'm like, oh, I can't not wait to watch that. And sometimes it takes me a few days to actually get around to it because it's like I don't want to just click on it and just randomly listen. It's like, no, I want to enjoy this video. So it's like,
Yes.
okay, I'm going to go take a walk, or I'm going to, make myself a snack and just sit on the couch. Like I get excited about their videos, because I know it's going to be different. I know it's going to be unique. It's going to be fun. And so, yeah, I just really, really enjoy their content.
I see. Okay, yeah. I mean, I can't really say for Skin and Locust because I don't know much about him, but yeah, you were very spot on with Beside the Dying Fire and most of the stuff he's been doing, he's written himself. So you know you haven't heard it somewhere else. And
Yeah.
yeah,
And
I mean,
his
he's just really
his
creative.
latest stories have this really interesting like scary factor. Like you're listening to it and it's like the story doesn't seem that scary, but like as you're listening to it, you can kind of feel like goosebumps starting on your arms and you're like you just start getting creeped out and you're like, wow, like that's good.
Yeah, I agree. I
He
definitely
did
agree.
one beside the Dying Fire did one, and I can't think of the name of it right offhand. About like an iPod or an iPhone, and like a haunted iPhone or something
Oh
like that.
yeah, yeah. It was the earbuds.
Yeah, yes, that's it. That's the one. And it was weird because I remember I was in the kitchen, I was like prepping dinner or something, and I just had my headphones on, and it was like he got to the like the last part, and I just remember I audibly was like, oh my God. And like that so rarely happens anymore. Like, being a part of this community, listening to so many of them, reading so many stories, there's just, you kind of guess everything, and there's not that like wow factor. So the fact that he actually made me like gasp out loud, I'm all like, wow, that was a good story. And that was one that I believe he actually wrote.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was. I do believe it was. And he does have a gift for being able to give you twists, good twists
Yeah.
that are unpredictable. So yeah, I definitely understand the feeling there. Is there anything you want to share with your fans that you really want them to know about your channel or any people that are thinking about subscribing?
Um, I feel like I've already kind of covered all those things. I've sort of just been rambling here. No, I don't think so. Other than
Sell yourself, Dark Owl.
I'm sorry.
I said sell yourself, Dark Owl.
I know I don't I guess I'm like there's nothing that feel like I need to share other than I'm just absolutely so honored and grateful for all of my subs. I think that my subs are just amazing. They're so supportive. Sometimes I'm having a bad day and I'll get like a comment and they're just so like it's so encouraging. Every time I feel like, I don't know if I want to do this anymore. This is a lot of hard work, or is this really worth my time? And then it's like I get these comments and it's like it makes me feel good. It just it's like I have amazing subs and I'm just so grateful that anybody is even subbed to me and that I've grown. I went from 0 to I think I've just hit over 600 in the last week, and it's just like I'm so flattered. I'm just like I can't believe people actually enjoy my content sometimes, and I'm just really really grateful. I'm like I know people like yeah, I mean, I know that I might be doing the work, but it's like I really wouldn't be anybody if it wasn't for the subs. So,
Oh, that's so sweet of you. And isn't it mind-blowing that people halfway across the world hear your voice and they're like subscribed to
yes.
you? It's just,
Yes.
I love the whole sub factor of this. It's not, I mean, it's not about YouTube being about the money, and I'm not down talking anybody who, does do this for a living. But it's just so filling to get all those nice comments from people because I don't know, it just keeps me going too. So I get what you're saying.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I feel the same way. It's like the fact that I know that somebody in Australia has listened to me, or somebody in oh, I don't know. The person that's coming to mind is I know that Dr. Creepin has actually left comments on a couple of my videos. And I'm like, oh my God, he's in Turkey. I
Yeah.
can't believe that somebody in Turkey has listened to my videos.
Yep, for sure. For
So, yeah.
sure. Okay, so any official face reveal plans?
Officially, no. But am I going to? Yeah, probably because I know that I like when I first started the channel, I was like, okay, I need to like do a face reveal at a certain milestone and it's like, well, should I do it at like a really high milestone or should I do it at a lower milestone or should I just do it randomly? And I think like I played with the idea of like, well, maybe 10,000 subscribers and then I'm like, I don't know, that seems like a ways off. And I'm like, well, maybe 1,000. So I think I've actually tweeted that I might do it at 1,000 subscribers. But to be honest, just knowing my personality, it literally could happen anytime. So,
Wow.
and I think it's just because I I would like to be a little bit more active on social media, and whether that means just tweeting, something that happened to me or a picture of myself or me being silly or, I went and visited some place or something. It's like sometimes I think it would be nice to share those pictures and just get closer to the community. And so, yeah, I feel like sometimes I'm just going to be like, you know what, it doesn't really matter. I'm just going to tweet a picture of myself.
Yeah, I feel like once you are a huge channel, then it becomes a big deal. But like for me, I just kind of was slick about it. I was like, oh, here's my face. And then my avatar now is my face, except obviously, drawn and breaking apart, but
Yeah.
that's my face. So I was just kind of slick about it. And I was like, I'm not gonna make this into a big deal. I'm gonna make it totally something totally normal. I'm not gonna be that person who's like, oh, I'm gonna wait until this huge milestone, which,
Right.
to each their own. That's totally fine if that's what they want to do. But I just felt like this is what was right for me. So I understand that.
Yeah. Well,
Um,
and I think
mhm.
there's also too much stress about doing like an
Yes,
official. It's sort of like,
exactly.
one day I'm just going to probably tweet something out and be all like, see how it's received, and I'm not going to make a big deal. And then again, tying into wanting to maybe do some cooking videos, it's like, well, if I have to wait till my 1,000 subscribers, then that's going to make it hard. And maybe I shouldn't do a video for the hive. And I'm like, it's just too complicated. I'm just not going to worry about it.
Yeah, I agree. No reason to stress out about it, honestly. All right, so here's a question that I ask most of the people who come on here. Pop Tarts or toaster strudel?
Pop Tarts.
Ah, how could you?
Mainly because
Everybody
I,
says
I,
that, honestly. I
I
feel like
don't,
90% of people do.
to be honest, I'm not really fond of either one of them. I grew up more on Pop Tarts, but I think they're too sugary for me. And even when I was a kid, after eating a Pop Tart, it would actually give me a headache, which I know sounds really random. But is so you'd wonder, well, why don't I like toaster strudel? Because I swear to God, every single time I've eaten a toaster strudel, they're always like frozen in the middle and I can never get them hot. And I'm just like, I don't really like either one.
Oh, okay, that's fair. That is fair. Uncle Ulrich said, I hope everyone is doing well. Thanks for all your help, Dark Owl. Peace and love from Uncle. Thank you so much, Uncle Ulrich, for donating. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, that was nice.
So let's see. Axeman Cartoon says, ask her if that owl is edible.
What the heck does that mean?
Axeman's just odd. That's just him. He likes throwing off the wall questions and statements out there. That's just
Oh,
one of
and okay,
two.
beside the dime fire, it just says, would you rather never have to brush your teeth
Oh my
again
God,
or
here we
never?
go.
I would like to never have to brush my teeth again.
So you
if,
would
if,
rather never brush your teeth again?
no, no, no. Would I rather? Meaning, if I was given the choice, like I didn't have to actually perform that task anymore, and my teeth would just magically be clean every day, I would rather not have to brush my teeth because combing my hair is easy. But like brushing your teeth, it's the whole thing of you got to brush your teeth and then you got to floss and then you got to use mouthwash and then you've got to make sure you go to the dentist every 6 months. And it's like, yeah, if I could just be guaranteed that my teeth were always tip top, that would be it.
So see, he messed up the wording on that question because when he asked me, he said he asked which one I would rather give up because
Oh,
would I rather have dirty teeth all the time, apparently, or have nappy hair?
yeah.
So,
If it was reversed, I would say I would rather never comb my hair because I figure I just shave my head and then I'm good.
That's a good one. That is a good one. Oh my
Though, to be
gosh.
honest, I would look so strange with no hair. I
I
would look
feel like
really,
most
really
women
strange.
would, honestly.
There are some people in some cultures, I think, that can pull it off, and they're gorgeous, but not me, unfortunately.
I feel like that's a very select group of people, to be honest with
Yes,
you.
it is. It's definitely.
Oh my gosh, Napoleon, thank you so much. He said, sending you positive vibes, Margbot. You should come to LA Comic Con on October. Your content is always inspiring and entertaining. Thank you, Napoleon. I really
Wow.
appreciate your donation of $55. I
But now
really
you
hope you're not going broke, Napoleon.
right? But now you have to go to LA Comic Con.
I wish I could.
I
Unfortunately, I can't go
know.
to any cons this year. But I will certainly try next year.
Yeah, that would be really fun.
Beside the dying fire, I don't think you look strange with no hair. I've seen you with, really short hair, and I don't think you look that strange. Let's see. All right, guys. I think that's it. I think we're gonna wrap it up so that Dark Owl can get to relaxing because I'm sure it's a work week is always long no matter what, I think.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, well, I hope you all have a very lovely weekend. Please stay safe out there, guys. Enjoy the last few days of summer. And anything you want to add, Dark Owl?
Reaper's Horrors asked favorite mask a couple times.
Oh, I'm sorry about that.
I don't have a favorite mask. I'm sorry. I mean, if I had to choose, I guess I like those really like sparkly ones that they wear to masked balls, but I don't I
Oh, I
don't have
collect those.
Oh yeah, those are gorgeous. Like I would love to like go to a mask ball and have one of those, but I don't have any like super scary masks other than when I was I don't know, probably a preteen. I don't even remember how old I was. I had a Grim Reaper mask and I loved it.
Nice. Very nice.
Yeah.
Very nice indeed. All right, guys. So I think that about wraps it up, right? Dark
Yeah,
Owl,
yeah.
was there anything else I missed?
No, thank you so much for having me.
Oh, thank you so much for agreeing. I really appreciate it. I'm always thankful that you guys are willing to do these, even when you guys don't really know me very well. But it was lovely to have you on.
Thank you.
And like I said, everybody, please stay safe and have a lovely weekend. Mark Bot out.
Bye.